A lot of these dudes who did a lot of demon shiz in the 80s and 90s turned to drugs because they can't handle their thoughts about the past and some of the effed up things they've done. So they gotta stay high. Hence the reason why Carisha is shoving pills up her vagina. You talking about that white boy is a drug mule? No, it's that goddamn Carisha.
I don't hear nobody out there. Hold it down.
Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. I'm looking down there in the comments, and y'all is burning me up because y'all like, nay, you need to up your inventory. Okay, I hear you. I am working on it, but that doesn't mean that if you haven't bought anything from uptopbeauty.com that you shouldn't go over there and check it out. The next thing is for all my old and new paid book club members. I appreciate you for all you do and sacrifice for me every month. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you should be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now. Let's continue talking about Faith Evans. Keep the faith. Mama, you need to come down to the studio now. It was Ike Lee. That's one of Kai's partners in his group/band. I was at the apartment trying to figure out how the hell I was going to get back to New Jersey when he called. Why? I asked. What's going on? We got Puff Daddy here, he said. We're trying to play him this track we're working on, but we need a female to sing the part. You need me to come down there now? I asked. I was about 6 months pregnant and not capable of rushing around too much. Yes, now. I could tell from the sound of his voice that it was urgent. So I got dressed as quickly as I could and drove down to RnB Studios in West Hollywood. Just like singing for Teddy Riley 2 years before, I didn't really think of it as a big deal. Even though by this time, Sean Puffy Combs was on his ascent to the next big thing in the music industry. It was 1992 and Puffy was best known for his work with Mary J. Blige. That summer, she'd released her seminal debut album, What's the 411? Hip-hop and soul music had never really been combined in a way that appealed to such a large audience before. What Mary accomplished on that first album was groundbreaking. Puffy had been an intern at Uptown Records, which was distributed by MCA. He later became an A&R executive under the direction of Andre Harrell, the president of Uptown. One of his first assignments was to oversee Mary's album. He didn't actually produce that many tracks, but he was instrumental in developing her style, both musically and otherwise. I've been hearing that Puffy was controlling his artists with Booger Sugar, that he would get them all hooked, and then that's how he would get them to do what he wanted them to do in the studio. Kind of like that DMX movie. I forget the name of that movie. Every time I talk about it, it's Ready to Die or Willing to Die or some shit like that. It was such a good movie. It was such a poignant movie because it describes the evils of men, and it's not just a man who would do something so treacherous. It's women too. That's why they naming Carisha, Mary J. Blige, one of P. Diddy's, or Thick Thighs Diddy, that's what we call him, Thick Thighs Demon Diddy, one of Thick Thighs Diddy demon baby mama in the mysterious death of Kim Porter. You just have human beings that, as long as they are fighting off their demons with drugs, pills, alcohol, boogity, sugary, whatever it is, they can keep this demonic, destructive behavior. Because, see, you got to realize this. A lot of these dudes who did a lot of demon shiz in the 80s and 90s, a lot of them dudes turned to drugs because they can't handle their thoughts about the past and some of the effed up things they've done. So they gotta stay high. Hence the reason why Carisha is shoving pills up her vagina. You talking about that white boy is a drug mule? No, it's that goddamn Carisha. Everything about Mary was just the bomb. She really represented the streets. You have to understand, successful female R&B singers at this time were mostly still throwbacks to an earlier age. I would agree. You had Anita Baker, one of my absolute favorites, who was on her 4th album by the early 90s. And then even the younger women, like the ladies in it Vogue, were patterned on girl groups from the 1960s, like the Supremes. I never thought of it like that, but it's true. Mary's sound was new and fresh and exciting. Hardcore hip-hop beats with singing instead of rapping. It was a novel concept, and it caught on quickly. Puff had also worked his magic on R&B group Jodeci, who released their classic debut album, Forever My Lady, in May 1991. Again, they were a new take on the whole boy group concept. Unlike Boyz II Men, who came out around the same time, Jodeci was raw and street, and Puff's touch made them white hot. Just based on his work with Mary J. Blige and Jodeci, I knew it was huge that Kai and the guys were working with him. Although I didn't know that much about Puffy himself, I just waddled my pregnant self down to the studio and went straight into the vocal booth. Puff didn't really notice me. I don't even think we were formally introduced. I was simply Kai's pregnant girlfriend helping out in a pinch. I don't remember anything about the song or if it even appeared on Christopher Williams' album. I was just doing my job as a friend to the crew. Remember? I told you he brung that girl because he didn't have to search for something that was already there. Let me just call my baby mama to come down here and hook it up. The only thing I knew for sure was that it was time for me to go home. But I was flat broke, and I was not about to ask Kai for plane fare. I didn't even want him to know I was ready to leave. I called my friend Roz back in Newark and told her what was going on. Her brother, Reggie, the sweet and shy 11th grader I'd once dated, had by this time become Redman, a rapper signed to Def Jam Records. Roz told me that Red was on tour in San Diego and that if I could get there, he could probably give me some money to get home. Okay, first of all, she said probably. Okay? Because sometimes them rappers be on the road and they be broke as fuck. Okay, but anyway, I move forward. She go to her baby father. Baby father, can I get your keys? Baby father's like, why? Why the fuck do you need my keys for? She like, I need to go to the store. Reluctantly, he gave her the keys. All right. First thing I'm saying is, what kind of man would allow his pregnant girlfriend to leave with his car late at night? That's suspicious to me. Okay, and that's telling me that he really don't care about her well-being. I would be like, if I was somebody's baby father, which I have been throughout the years, I do got some godchildren, but I would be like, nah, just sit back. What you need, I'll go get it. It's okay, you know. But like I said, he don't really get it. It was almost 10 o'clock at night when I left. The car had no gas when I got in. And you would think the motherfucker would be like, it ain't no gas in the car. He go a couple of dollars, put some gas in the car. And I knew I'd have to fill up at some point, but it was late at night and I wanted to get on the road as quickly as possible. As I drove down the freeway, I looked at the different signs, trying to figure out the best place to pull off and get gas. I didn't recognize any of the names. I didn't know which places were safe and which to avoid. Child, that's what I feel about Virginia. All right? When you from the DMV, it's like DC and Maryland are one and the same. It's maybe a certain part of Virginia, like Alexandria, that can claim DC. Okay? But for the most part, DC and Maryland tries to stay far away from that goddamn Virginia because you don't understand what you're doing. I don't recognize none of these roads. I don't know these ninjas. So anyway, she just jumps out there, okay, and pulls over and get to a gas station. Child, hold tight. I looked around on my walk back to the car, slightly concerned that it was so deserted in the area. I picked up the gas pump and slipped it into the car and stood there, one hand on the pump, the other resting on top of the car. Suddenly, I heard a loud pop and then a whizzing sound close to my ear. At the same time, I felt something sting my arm and I jumped. I looked over at my upper arm and there was a quarter-size hole in the gray cotton sweater I was wearing. And whatever hit my arm had it stinging like hell. I was petrified. I knew I needed my gas. I stood there, jiggling the pump to make the gas come out faster and holding on to my arm with my free hand. As soon as I had all $8, because that's all she had, worth of gas in my car, I jumped in, slammed the door, and pulled off, one hand on my arm the entire time. So let me tell you about a situation, okay? So I have a family member who used to do business. Like back in the day, it was a whole conglomerate. You hear me? There was a money man, there was a gun man, there was a drug man, and there was a man that put that work in. My family was more of a lover, okay? But he would still put that work in. Blink if you know what I'm saying. But if he ain't feel like putting that work in, it was always that hitman ready for action. That crazy motherfucker went back to jail when he got out. You know what they call a mamba. You know what a mamba is. Not Kobe Bryant, but the snake. My family member allowed Mamba to drive the car. Okay? His car. Ooh, shit. Now, Mamba has a reputation of always putting that work in first. Pow, 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 first. Okay? Not even thinking. He's always been that way. Oh, he look like he's trying to kill me. Pow, pow, pow. He moved to the left too fast. Pow, pow, pow. This is the early 90s, late 80s. Okay? Child, one time, my family member let this crazy ninja drive his car. He was always messing with some bitches. Every time he got shot or stabbed, it was always because he was fucking somebody else's woman. Family member got his car back. Ooh, that thing was full of hoes. That shit was like Swiss cheese. My family member was like, never again. Never the fuck again. If he gotta go see any bitch, he gonna see the bitch on the bus. Never in my vehicle. When my cousin was in that car, he had to get rid of the car because every time he got in that car, they associated Mamba with that car. So he had to hurry up and get rid of it because they assuming in their mind that, oh, that's Mamba car. No, that wasn't Mamba car. Mamba was driving somebody else's car, trying to sneak and fuck your bitch. Now, in this situation, she did not say that she felt like somebody was after her baby father. Okay? She just said that the situation happened. First thing in my mind, if something like that happened, I'm thinking I ain't done nothing to nobody. I ain't been mad to nobody. But then again, when I think about it, they may have had them gang initiations and she might have been victim to it. I had never heard a gunshot before, but I immediately assumed that's what it was. I was shot. I couldn't believe it. I sped down the freeway for 10 minutes, driving with one hand, too scared even to look at my arm. Finally, my heart started to slow down, and I pulled over to the shoulder. I shrugged out of my sweater and pulled up the sleeve of my t-shirt. The skin there was red and swollen, and there was a small mark, but no blood. I breathed a sigh of relief. I drove straight to San Diego, stopping just twice to get gas and used the payphone to make sure Red was still waiting for me. I was running out of what little money I did have, and I was scared that I'd get to San Diego with no money left, only to find that Red and his crew had moved on to the next spot on their tour. Now, here go Red, man. You all right? Faith, you all right? You okay? You know I'll put a nigga in the ground for you. I smiled. It felt good to be around someone from home who had my back. Nah, you ain't gotta beat nobody up, I said. I'm just getting the hell off the West Coast. On my way back, I called the apartment. Curtis, one of Kai's roommates, told me that Kai was worried. Whatever, I said. He just worried about getting his car back. I got back to the Oakwood and told Kai I'd be leaving as soon as I could get a flight out. On February 1993, I was back in Newark.